My boyfriend's ex lives with him, and I find it very strange and it bothers me as well. My boyfriend and I met about a year ago at a conference, and immediately we started talking. Things have been very good so far, and we are going strong each and every day. We live in different towns in the capital, and since we started dating, we've gone on dates several times at restaurants, and sometimes we have mini vacations at the beach, but I have never gone to see his place. 6 months into the relationship, he came to see where I live, and I also requested to see where he's living as well. But when I first went to visit him, I realized there were ladies' clothes on the dry line outside. But I did not ask him who the things belonged to, though I was a bit curious about them. Upon a second thought, I thought the clothes could be for his neighbors since it was a hedge or some hedges that separate his apartment from theirs. Then, on my second visit, I met a lady at the main entrance of the apartment, and I greeted her and asked her if my boyfriend was in. She answered in a very cold manner, telling me she did not know if he was in or not, so I could go in and check it for myself. When I got inside and knocked on his door, he came out to open it for me. I then asked him who the lady was, and he told me that the lady was his ex-girlfriend, whom he had broken up with for almost 2 years now. So I then asked him what she was doing in front of the apartment, and to my surprise, my boyfriend told me that she lives in the same apartment with his ex-girlfriend, even though they had broken up for almost 2 years. You should have seen the shock written all over my face. Wait, you mean your ex-girlfriend that you have broken up with for almost 2 years still lives in the same apartment with you, where you share the same kitchen and washroom? Well, this was a complete shock to me because that was the first time I was hearing something like that in my entire life. He then told me there was nothing to worry about because though it is a self-contained apartment, they were living in 2 separate rooms, so I don't have anything to worry about. I then asked him why the lady is still living with him after the breakup, and he explained that they have dated for a very long time, and besides, the girl had lost her job at the time of the breakup, and he didn't want to throw her out in the cold. He went on to explain that the lady tried looking for an accommodation elsewhere, but they were quite expensive, and since she hadn't gotten the money to rent a new place yet, he decided to accommodate her until she is able to get a place of her own and move out. I still find the story quite strange, but I didn't want this issue to come between us, so I let sleeping dogs lie and subsequently left his place. Then, a few weeks later, he invited me over again, and this time around, I met the lady at the hall that leads to my boyfriend's room. When I got to the apartment, she was watching TV and eating at the same time in the hall. I greeted her twice, but she refused to respond, so I just walked past and went to my boyfriend's room. I later told my boyfriend my encounter with his ex-girlfriend in the hall, but he didn't seem pleased with what I was telling him. So I decided to tell him again that I greeted his ex-girlfriend, but she refused to respond. My boyfriend, in an angry tone, asked why I wanted to be friends with his ex-girlfriend at all costs. He went on to say that why must we always discuss his ex-girlfriend each time that we're having a conversation? He said I was just being paranoid and there was nothing to worry about. When the argument got bigger, I decided to leave, and while I was leaving, the lady was still in the hall watching TV and eating her food, looking so unconcerned as I left the apartment. A few weeks later, almost all our conversation was about his ex-girlfriend and why she was still living with him. I told him to get a new place for this lady or I won't visit him again. He went on to say that I was just being inconsiderate and he couldn't throw her away in the cold out there simply because they were no longer together as lovers. I then suggested that if he cared about her so much because of the good time that they had shared in the past, he should then get her an apartment elsewhere. But my boyfriend asked me why he must spend so much money to get her a room elsewhere while nobody is sleeping in the other room that she currently occupies. At this point, I was too shocked that I told him that if he refuses to get the lady an apartment elsewhere, then I was no longer going to visit him ever again. He then went on to say that he didn't think I love him enough and I was just being inconsiderate. And he also mentioned that he couldn't ever sack the young lady or his ex-girlfriend in the cold simply because they are no longer together. He also said that I am a woman and I'm supposed to be sympathetic and have empathy for people instead of being mean towards them. I am now confused. Am I being inconsiderate, mean, or paranoid like he had described me? Am I really doing too much or am I really asking for too much? Wow, this is a crazy story. What do you guys think? Do you think that she is being paranoid and inconsiderate like the guy described her? Guys, would you allow your ex-partner to live with you simply because they have not gotten accommodation of theirs just yet? Kindly share your thoughts and your opinion in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe for more stories. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.